All right, friends, we are with Reggie Barlow, head coach of the DC Defenders. Coach, thanks so much for being on the program.
Mark, thanks for having us on, man. Excited.
I know you're a busy guy, so let's just get right into it. So, how does it feel to finally be able to talk to a player, coach a player after all this time with the announcements and you getting announced as a coach? How does it
Yeah,
feel?
man, it's awesome, Mark. I tell you, it seemed like it's been forever. We've gone around the country from Maine to Spain, man, looking for football players. And to know that we've watched so many guys, and now it's coming down to possibly having 50 to 60 guys that are our guys. And it starts with Eric Dungey. So I'm excited about that.
So, what take us through the process of picking somebody like Eric Dungey? Why did you go with him? What is it about his game that you like?
Yeah, so when he was at Syracuse, I mean, he had an outstanding career. I mean, there were times where Eric mentioned this kid with some of the top quarterbacks in the country. He's a dual threat guy, big guy. Normally, you see the dual threat guys being that 6'1", 6'2" range, but he's a 6'3", 6'4" guy. Can really spin it. Had some quarterback runs in college where he, was able to get things done. He can make all the throws. His football intelligence, IQ is really good. He's a leader. He knows what it looks like to be a leader and be the face of a program.
So he has some experience with the XFL, the 2.0 era, with Bob Stoops a little bit. Did any of them? Did you talk to Stoops or any of the people within the XFL about bringing him on to the DC Defenders?
Yeah, we didn't talk directly to Stoops, who's, by the way, is just an amazing coach, amazing guy, and he's been one of the guys that I've really tried to latch on since I've been awarded this position. But didn't really reach out to him. But we knew if he had a guy like that on his team, then obviously this kid had the skill set and everything else that you would want in a quarterback and as a player on your team.
So now that you have the draft is up next, and you built college programs before, what's it like going to build a pro program this go around? I mean, you're starting from scratch. There's you,
Right.
your staff, Eric Dungey, and that's it.
Right on. Yeah. I tell you what, having guys like Von Hutchins, who is our director of player personnel, Greg Williams, who obviously has been a head coach in the NFL. He's our defensive coordinator. Just having those guys and our assistant coaches, um, knowing what we want each room to look like from a skill set, from a height, weight, demeanor, all that stuff. These guys have done a really good job. We've casted our net, as I mentioned, over and watched a lot of guys, and we know what we want that to look like. And very similar to building a program in college. I mean, it starts up front. All right, you got to have people that's going to protect. Well, it starts with your quarterback, but you got to have people that's going to protect them. You got to have edge rushers. So we feel like we've found a lot of those guys that we'll have on our board, and then hopefully they'll be available for us when it's our time to pick.
Yeah. So speaking of your pick, how excited were you when you got the first pick in the draft? I mean, there's pressure now because is this going to be the top offensive player on your in the league? How did you feel when you got the name the first pick in the draft?
I was like, "Are you bleeping me? Like, are you serious?"
Well,
The-
the defenders of the past, they also had the first pick, and they took Rashad Davis, who wound up
right,
signing with the Tennessee Titans or something like that, and
right.
never played it down in the XFL. So now that you have the first pick, is there any pressure on you, or are you excited about having that pick?
Yeah, no really pressure. I mean, we like to say we apply pressure, we don't feel pressure. So
All right.
we're gonna take, we're gonna take the guy that we feel like brings us the most stability at his position, a guy that can, contribute on a high level. Obviously, a guy that's gonna have to be able to speak and talk to media coverage and all that stuff because he will be the first pick. So our coaches, our director of player personnel, we've done a really good job of vetting all these guys that we're planning on drafting, and we feel good about it.
So, I mean, would you say you've watched more game tape for players? I mean, we talked about the player pool, 1,700 players or more. Have you seen more game tape and player tape now than you ever did in your whole college career? I mean, that's a ton of guys that you're evaluating for
And you
this
said
season.
You said it right, Mark. It is a lot of guys. And yes, it is. I tell you, recruiting in college, obviously you have to look at a lot of guys, but more times you're watching their highlight tapes. And every once in a while you can go back and, watch a guy game tape or something. But with this being on a professional level, you're able to go into catapult and you're able to pull up game film, you're able to pull up targets as a receiver, just whatever you need. And we've sat and watched a lot of tape through Zoom. We've sat and had meetings at coaching retreats and watched film. So yeah, it has been a lot. It has been a lot, and we'll continue to do it up until it's time for draft.
How much did you rely on any of that, the analytic data? I know that you guys had a company come in and I cannot remember the name right now, but doing all that data analytics and player, is that factor in your decision for some of these things, looking at some of that data? It's kind of a new way of approaching picking players.
Yeah, it was we used some of that stuff early on, but then at the end of the day, we talk about trusting your eyes. A lot of these guys have been around professional sports, college sports, and you know what you like in a player, you know what a solid player looks like on film. So obviously that, but the other part of it was having those intimate conversations with those guys about what have they been doing, the last 6 months or whatever. Have they been training? Are they in shape? What's been their mindset when they play football? So it's been a combination of all of those things. And again, I can't thank our coaching staff and our director of player personnel, Vaughn, for really leading this thing. He's been in the NFL for a long time. He knows what this part of it looks like, and he's done a good job of really, really building us a solid board of really good players that we'll be able to bring, that DC will be proud of.
And so what kind of style of football player are you looking for in this draft, without giving things away? Because tomorrow, and everybody wants to keep secrets before what they're going to do before a draft, but kind of what's your ideal guy that you're looking for this, for the DC Defenders?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just mindset is everything. We talk about mindset, skill set, and then scheme, but it starts with the mind. You want a guy that loves football. You want a guy that's tough-minded, that have experienced adversity before and then tuck his tail and stayed in the fight. And then, of course, you go to the skill set. A guy that, depending on the position, offensive line guys, tackles, you want 6'4" and up, all right, and 285, 300 pounds, and every position we have a profile of what we want that kid to look like. But again, it starts with mindset. It starts with, are you a tough guy? Do you love football? Are you willing to compete? Have you overcame adversity at some point in your life? And will you be really invested into the team concept, the family concept? And are you ready to defend DC?
All right. And the final question is, in order to get Eric Dungey to be on board, did you have to tell him about the beer snake? Was that a recruiting tool for you, for some of these guys?
Oh yeah, we've talked about not just with him, but many of the guys that we've talked with throughout this whole process that we think, if they're available, we'll take them. We've talked about that. Many of them have gone and YouTubed it and watched it, and just they can't believe it. I mean, it's they can't believe it. So we're hoping to break a record this year, so we can stack those cups.
Yep. So fans are excited. We definitely, Eric Dungey is a known commodity in the alt football space. So DC is definitely super excited to have you as a coach, and super excited to have Eric Dungey as our quarterback. So I appreciate your time and good luck in the draft tomorrow.
Yes, sir, Mark. Thank you, man, so much. Go DC.
All right.